Cheers, you guys. It's tea time with Madison and Christine. Where to start? Of course, as always, I come here when I feel like this cosmic shooting star coming through me, and it's like, get to your computer and just share. So I honor that so very much. So the topic today, which was rolling around inside of me around 2 or 3 a.m. this morning, is about conformity versus our true soul path and finding that wild side within us. And I feel like we're in a world that has taught us that conformity is the way, right? Like a herd of sheep. You know, the whole should, have to's, obligation energy. And it's the way I envision that is like being in a zoo, all trapped in a zoo, the zebra, the lion. Oh God, it breaks my heart, even though it's amazing to see them too. But, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I remember as I was continuing to be in these systems and these agencies. And again, I'm not here to completely like bash, because there's things that can be good in all of it, but let's get real. You know, we're animals too, right? And we want to be free. To me, getting to touch with our humanity, that's one of those places that I will speak to often. And I remember looking out my window in a couple of those places and just being, what the, you know, like all these added obligations of the way you write notes and these meetings that were just repetitive and there wasn't anything new or evolutional going on. I was like, you know, no. And like I've shared before in other YouTubes, for me personally, I was like, this is pinching me off from who I truly am. Like being I don't know why it's a zebra today, but like being a zebra in a zoo, it didn't work. It wasn't working. I was like, I could give so much more if I made like God, energy, and the angels my boss, so to speak. That would be a lot better. I'd rather get a paycheck from there. That's where I want my value to come from. And so I want to talk about, what does conformity mean to you? How does that show up in your body? I think it's really important, you guys, these days, with so much psychic traffic going on, so much chaos. I mean, we're in a very, very huge time right now, obviously. It can go without saying, but I'm going to acknowledge it and send a lot of love to every single person who's affected on any which way that you are. That it is so important, you guys, that we ground in our bodies, that we pay attention to what's going on. And I can tell you, for me, conformity would manifest in my body as a really tight chest, as anxiety, as a repression, rage, like just this anger, a sort of exhaustion. This is when I was working in systems too. It would manifest in a way where I felt like my joy was being sucked out. And when I stopped laughing, that's when I know something's not okay. When creative juices were not really rolling around. So those are some things that would show up for me, or will show up for me, when I feel like I'm pinching myself off from the awesome giantness that I could be. And we all have that, you guys. I'm always an encourager and empower of not staying small. First of all, love yourself where you're at, because where you're at is perfect. That's how our acceptance of where we're at is everything in moving forward, right? So when I look back on my history, I don't have one regret, because I made a choice to learn from everything. So we have a play field here in this universe, and we have such a gift to have this human experience, even though it can really be freaking painful and hard. Not to ever minimize that. There's also the flip of the joy and the creativity and the connectedness and the interconnectedness and the co-creation that we can create in this world. So when we look at conformity, you know, the 9-to-5 jobs, the whatever it is that cuts us off from nature, the obligatory energy, the have-tos, the shoulds, like I said earlier. And then we have another choice we can make, and that's our soul path, right? And what does that mean? That means that one is willing to find peace or to get best friends with the unknown. Is that easy? Hell no. I know for me, it's taken my greatest courage and bravery to do so, but I would never want it any different. I would take nights of insomnia and nights over waking up and doing Groundhog Day and not really being alive and tapping that animal and that spirit. You guys, the wild in us is an essence, right? So it takes so much courage. So I realize I'm probably speaking to 5% of the population right now that will make that choice. May it be more, but I don't know statistics, but I look in the world, or we see on social media, there's just a lot of the same. And I just am someone who really encourages in myself and others your absolute uniqueness. I mean, like I've said before, I believe nature is one of the greatest teachers. And this morning I was out watering the roses and then sitting with my coffee and just watching the bumblebees and letting them talk to me, and just grounding in that energy. And it's really important that we really connect to these bodies with all this chaos going on. Check in with yourself, right? Throughout the day. What's going on in my body? Am I tight? If I'm tight, how can I bring love to that? But just by acknowledging it. And as far as the other flip side and for me, the wild side, the side of you that lights up, let's talk about that. What makes you tick? What lights you up, right? Like for me, lately, my creativity and juice is coming through on YouTube's, and it is an absolute 100,000% joy for me. Or when I work with clients, it is, oh my gosh, I'm constantly learning. And in the world of soul path, there's no hierarchy, right? It's like, even though I'm termed therapist, I'm a human being and a soul connecting to another soul. And the honor of that is beyond. So I'm not above. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that's something that just doesn't make any sense when you're in your essence and your core, right? That's the system. That's conformity. It wants that. There's a power abuse dynamic that goes on, and that's a whole other topic. So I encourage you to come into your true power, and I like to share power. I call it sharing power, right? And learning from my clients as they learn from me. It goes full circle. It's a true gift all the way around. So what lights you up? And let's also talk about when you do choose that soul path, it takes every ounce of courage you could imagine. I wouldn't give up any of those insomniac nights for what I have discovered as far as facing that terror of not having that weekly or every other week paycheck. I made that choice. I knew down deep. We do it when we're ready. So I'm not here encouraging anything other than your own process and where you're at and your true acceptance of where you're at, okay? So for me, I also just drew on support and went through something, and went through a tunnel, a birth canal, whatever you want to call it, and rebirthed out of that and into this unknown, and had to face a lot of anxiety, like I said, and terror. There's a bug flying around, and terror, and I would do it all over again for what I'm experiencing now. And I promise you the value and the abundance that comes. Spirit is wanting us to ask for help, you guys. Our angels, whatever you believe in, but I'm talking about this stuff now. They want us to ask, but we got to ask. Ask and it is given, right? It's true. I feel like in this life now there's more help from the other side than ever before. And I heard a really good energy update by Lee Harris. I suggest he does those once a month, and he talked about how we're coming into more paranormal experiences. That's what was being channeled through him. And there's more psychic traffic right now, and the importance of grounding. So I just want to pass that on. So back to what it takes to come out of conformity. That's why we probably see 95% of the population in conformity. But the question is, do you want to be alive? Do you want to be alive and have this human experience and freaking go for it? Experience that deep, deep love in yourself, with others. Co-create, play. Like Rumi says, it's a play field where there's no right or wrong. God, do I know that in my spirit? So you check it out for yourself. Where in your life do you feel conformed? Like, do you feel the conformity? And then you feel deformed, right? It's that intense. It can be that intense when you wake up and you feel all that. And what can you do? What lights you up? You know, maybe there's YouTubes or spiritual things or books, and you just find like you can't get enough. That is telling you about yourself, right? The kinds of people you're attracted to, and the kinds of activities. Like I've always loved it. I love to run. I love to hike. I love to walk. Love it. It's just a part of who I am. Love to dance. Whatever it is for you that just makes you tick, just do more of it. Maybe writing is something that you just, whenever you do it, you find that something unlocks. I just encourage you to do it a little bit more and a little bit more and see where that guides you. That's a place to start. So thank you so much for hanging with me. Cheers from my tea to yours. It's your decision, conformity or doing that soul path that is the most brave and courageous path you could absolutely choose. Cheers, and meet you on the flip. Thank you so much for listening.